Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video where I feel important for 10 minutes. Today we're going to be looking into the iDubbbz situation. Now, originally I wasn't going to make a video about this, but for some reason it just keeps on giving. Everyone's been making videos about it, but specifically Moist Critical or Penguin Zero is being dragged into it because iDubbbz was obviously condemning this previous behavior, but Penguin Zero kind of justified it in a sense, or so people thought. And so it just keeps on going and going. But what am I even talking about to begin with? Now, iDubbbz 7 million subscriber YouTube channel used to be really popular back in the day for his Kickstarter videos and content cop videos. Now, the Kickstarter videos were really funny because he used to go through kind of like the worst of crowdfunding websites, and the products he used to showcase were really bad. And typically the owners were just scamming their viewers anyway. But where his career really popped off was when he started filming the content cop videos. Now, the content cop videos, he made about a dozen of them or so. However, I'm not going to really go through them all now because most people don't really know who these people are, like Jinx Reload. I mean, if you know, you know, but if you don't, then I mean, you know, sit on the bench, you know what I mean?
Mama! 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 What? My name is
Now, the content cop style is very unique for the time, as they were essentially hit pieces before hit pieces. During the 2016-2017 era of YouTube, if you were to make a hit piece on someone, people like Leafy's here and Pyrocynical would essentially just call them gay, and like that was the joke. But what was really unique about iDubbbz's format is that he would really go into their like history, kind of like dissect their upbringing and just expose them as the frauds as they were. Now, what's the issue here, you may be asking yourself? Well, quite a few. So iDubbbz is well known for these videos, however, it's his legacy attached to these videos. He is very well known for essentially being really racist, homophobic, and possibly even transphobic. Not that he may have been those things inherently, but he definitely used a lot of racist terminology to essentially just make fun of people and so forth. Now, these videos were well received for the time. I remember even Philip DeFranco saying that when a content cop was released, it was essentially like the Christmas holiday for YouTube. They were kind of a spectacle, a kind of one-off thing where it's like, oh my god, I need to stop whatever I'm doing and I need to watch this video. But it's the legacy that was really attached to these videos that really got iDubbbz in hot water, where he would essentially always use racist terminology, homophobic terminology to kind of just describe anyone. The difference between these is that he would do a lot of good by exposing these people, but he would litter a lot of this racism and just kind of wrong terminology throughout the video. And for him now, that kind of invalidated his video, although that isn't really true because his videos exposed a lot of bad people that were on the website that he did make the videos on. For example, Tanamongu was really bad at the time. Now, arguably, Tanamongu used to make fake videos, essentially story time things where most doubtably her best story was how someone fucked her with a toothbrush.
He fucked me with a toothbrush. He fucked me with a toothbrush. A toothbrush. Oh, fucking.
But arguably, her fault or not her fault, I'm not sure. She did host an event called TanaCon, which was around the same time that VidCon for YouTube was happening. And she essentially, willingly, allegedly, rented out a space that didn't support the amount of tickets that she sold. Whether it was her company that she hired to host the event, it's their fault, or I don't really know. But either way, she did a lot of shady shit. One of the worst things that iDubbbz did is that he actually went to a meet and greet at one of her events and said something really bad. Now, if you don't know what I'm saying, I obviously can't play the clip, but one of the things that he said is that I'll reenact it. He kind of met with her, was taking a picture, and then he said, say, and then he said the N-word. But one of the main things that iDubbbz said in that video, which is honestly one of the worst takes, is that either all of it's okay or none of it's okay. Now, don't get me wrong. Initially, when I first heard this, I agreed with it. But the more you read into it, the worse you kind of realize it is. I was thinking, okay, South Park, taboo humor, but they're still funny. They cross all the lines, but they're still able to get their point across without seeming just edgy for the sake of edgy. No, he was literally just saying, like, you can just say the N-word if you want. It doesn't matter. Which, I mean, obviously he condemns now, but it was a really stupid take even back then. But this key phrase has been repeated throughout the rest of time, and even up until recently, after he's condemned his old content, has allowed these fans to kind of call him a hypocrite and say, well, either everything's okay or none of it's okay. So you're a hypocrite for not believing this even 7 years later, which, I mean, do I even have to say it? It's 7 years, bro. Like, move on. So because of this stigma that his old videos have, he took it upon himself to unlist a lot of the content cops that had a lot of this bad and racist humor in it. And that essentially created a divide between the community, especially on Twitter. Ooh. Now, there are a few main critiques to iDubbbz's recent positions. One of them is he kind of gained a career essentially making fun of people. Then after a while, he got made fun of, and then he just instantly regrets everything and just apologizes. And I guess it's the fact that him apologizing kind of brings down this empire that he's kind of constructed over the years on YouTube, and has kind of disappointed a lot of these older fans. Of the video, but it is very long, and I literally just summed it up for you. It's very boring. But one of the biggest kind of like controversies now in relation to the iDubbbz video was Moist Critical's video. Now, for those who don't know, Moist Critical obviously covers everything in terms of drama and stuff like that. And he's been getting a lot of flack because he kind of defended iDubbbz's old content, saying that it was obviously a product of its time and that you should obviously feel bad for doing it, but what are you going to do? It's like a product of its time, you know what I mean? But this clip has been really blowing up recently, so I'll show you guys that right now.
Point is, he wasn't happy with the content he made or the person he was, and now he's trying to apologize for the videos he made. And I, once again, have to completely disagree with the way he looks at it. I feel like his perspective on it is very warped by the way the internet has evolved over the years. The way he talks about this content makes it sound like he used to fucking murder puppies for these videos, which it was never that extreme. I very much would consider it edgy. It was 2016 edginess in all of its glory. That was entirely the brand. And for its time, it lived peacefully. You know, all four nations, water, earth, fire, air, lived together in harmony with all this edginess going on. Now, obviously, times have changed, and he has changed. He's gotten older. He's in his 30s now. In your 30s, it's not exactly entertaining to just be spamming slurs for shock humor. I don't find that entertaining, and he doesn't either. So it's totally fine to want to distance yourself from making content like that. But I don't think it was a mistake that he made those videos. Like, they're not hurtful, nor do I really think they're damaging. Now, you could make an argument that they were hurtful to the people they were about, like the content cop on Tana or Leafy or any of that. You could say, like, you know, he hurt their feelings or sent harassment their way, which may have been a mental burden on them, and you could feel bad about that, I suppose. But at the end of the day, I don't think the goal of his content was ever to be hurtful or damaging. He was just trying to entertain and using edginess as shock humor, which for its time was acceptable online. Now, whether or not you think that's okay that it was ever acceptable, that's a different argument for a different day. But the point is, the point of his content wasn't to be hateful or hurtful. He really was just trying to entertain. At least that's how I and the majority of people viewed it. So I just don't think that the apology is really warranted. You can explain, like, I just don't like making that content anymore, so I won't. And be like, hey, I even regret making that content because it's kind of cringe now. That's all fine, but to think that it is this huge, massive problem, like you made an unforgivable mistake, is a little weird to me.
So everyone was kind of up in arms with this clip, and I mean, doubtably so, it's kind of stupid. I mean, a little bit. The thing is that I feel like he is kind of forgiving all of the content that he created by simply saying, well, it's a product of its time. What are you going to do? You can't always predict what is going to be acceptable in the next 5 to 10 years, which is 100% correct. However, I think Moist Critical really underestimated the impact of iDubbbz's videos and his racism within those videos. Perfectly summarized in this one as well, as you see here. Being quote-unquote ironically racist can and will attract genuine racists, which is honestly true. I don't think Charlie is fully grasping the impact of iDubbbz's content had on kids back in the day. And, you know, I am somewhat confused over Charlie's take on this. One thing I do agree on is that iDubbbz is not appreciating the genuine value in his own work. He brought light to all kinds of deceptive, immoral, and even illegal behavior, which, I mean, I don't know what the fuck he's going on about that last one, but typically, everyone is saying, well, you are right to a certain extent, but he's just apologizing for making that content, which is still pretty bad. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But if he genuinely felt bad enough that he wanted to unprovokingly apologize for this old content, remember, nothing really has happened to trigger this chain of events where he's like, oh fuck, I should actually apologize. Like, no one's really called him out for it, like, to the point where it's all over on Twitter. Like, everyone knows that this is his kind of legacy in a sense, and he's obviously gone out of his own way to kind of disprove that and disassociate it with himself from this old content, which honestly shows more of his character of him sincerely being apologetic and remorseful to the people that he demonized. I mean, I guess just made fun of. And this is where I want to leave it with you guys. Where is the line drawn with this kind of stuff? You can kind of make content that is relevant for the time period that you're making it for, but do you think it's justified to apologize for it even 5 to 10 years after you've made it? I mean, at the end of the day, you made it for that time period. That time period was accepting of that. Do you condemn it and say that that's not you in that current time? Well, yeah, of course, that's fine. But do you kind of remove it and go on a crusade against it? I'm not really too sure. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Remember to give it a like and a subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!